Welcome back, everybody. Rain's coming down pretty hard. Storm just rolled in. Hopefully we stay connected on the internet. They like to do these power fluctuations right about this time in the mornings. For some reason, I'm still trying to figure out what that's all about. But anyway, glad to be on here live with you guys. Thanks for tuning in yesterday. Today will be Battle of the Billionaires. We're also going to get into the defunding of this Luigi character. He got defunded, exactly what we said was going to happen, literally a few hours after the show. And they pulled his funding from all these people that were crowdfunding to try to help him with his legal defense. And all of this is a hazing ritual to show people what happens to you if you go against what they tell you to do. We're also going to get into an amazing find that one of you actually found. And it was that Trump actually passed drone legislation in 2017. They tried to scrub this from the internet, but Reuters reported on it. And he was basically opening up the ability for drones to fly overhead and loosened up all of the restrictions. And it's really creepy. Now, I got a screenshot of the actual site. I don't know if you guys are able to open the site, the Reuters article. But for me, the article would essentially load for a split second and then shut off. So I had to literally screenshot it. So what you're going to see today is a screenshot, but I'll put a link to the article. But it's chilling because it fits into exactly what's going on with all these drones that have now been spotted across the United States. Police departments they don't even know what to do. They say they can't see these things on heat because they give off no heat. It's some kind of new technology. So we're going to get into all that today. We're also going to look at this new quantum computing chip by Google called Willow. We're going to talk about all the discussions that we had about the Willow several years ago leading up to this and see if there's a connection as well. Now, I'm really hoping this channel breaks through. I don't know how many times we have to be right about something before it happens for people to get on board and look at this stuff, because more eyes looking at it, this is how we're going to help people wake up to all this stuff. And so they can be prepared in these last days. I don't think we're going to be able to stop it because Bible prophecy says that these things are going to happen. But at least we can raise people's awareness about all these things. Now, we started a new part of the program called the Trump Tracker. And there's a lot of firsts this time around, isn't there, with Trump? And I don't think the world's seen anything quite like it. The billionaires are now lining up at the altar of Trump to pay their respects. Zuckerberg, Bezos, Altman helped bankroll Trump's inauguration. So these have now been added to the list. We've got, of course, Elon Musk and the NASA guy, who's also a multi-billionaire. That Trump has added to the cabinet, as well as the ties to Peter Thiel and Palantir, who's also a billionaire. So the billionaire club is now going to run our country. Now, if you think this is a good thing, you might want to click off of this channel at this point. If you think that billionaires have our best interests at heart, you're probably on the wrong channel, because that means you're very, very fast asleep. Now, some people try to justify this. They say, oh, well, these people are successful. How did they become billionaires? We should look up to them. They know how to run things. Well, that is a completely sleep philosophy, because these billionaires have come right out and said that they want to replace us with robots. Okay, so what is everyone going to do if robots are controlling everything? What are we going to do for a living? How are we going to support ourselves if everything's been automated? And we already know the track record of these people. Privacy concerns. Again, replacing us with robots. Horrible track record with their workers. And the workers that try to speak up, they end up getting disappeared or suicided. Workers that try to stand up for our rights, who've left these companies, left Google and these companies, ended up suicided, and nothing ever happens to the company as they just march us towards the technocracy. Wow. So we already know that these companies are essentially violating our privacy and our rights. let's read this. Tech billionaires Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Altman help bankroll Trump's inauguration. What to know. Tech executives attempting to ease tensions with Trump are opening up their wallets after the former president staged a historic return to the White House. Now, notice how they whitewash this. They're whitewashing it. They're making it look like, oh, these guys are just giving their offering. They're trying to make amends with Trump. No. This is a takeover. But they have to couch it in a way that is more palatable for the public, right? OpenAI confirmed on Friday that its chief executive, Sam Altman, is planning to personally donate $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund. Now, we already knew that Bezos donated $1 million as well. We covered that on yesterday's show. Meta, a parent company of popular social media app Facebook and Instagram, also confirmed it donated $1 million to Trump as well. Amazon didn't respond to requests for comment, but it is reportedly planning to donate some amount to Trump's inaugural fund. Wow. Now, remember, Amazon got rich under Trump during the pandemic. We've talked about that many, many times. And in turn, made China rich. What kind of world are we entering into, you guys? This is crazy. Now, we all knew we would be alive, or thought we would be, going into these end times. But this is happening at a fever pitch, much quicker than I could have anticipated. I thought maybe we had another couple presidencies left. But with all this shaking out the way it is, and the amount of control that these people have with technology, and how technology is now starting to rule us, the defunding the police being replaced with artificial intelligence, both sides working together, obviously, right? Both sides working together. I think we are further along than anyone could have ever imagined. Now, it's been a while since I've had a death threat, but whoever's doing this on Instagram, you've been put on notice. The authorities have been notified, saying I'm a sitting duck and I better notify my family. Well, guess what? Millions of people have now been notified if this video gets shared, and they can easily go into my account, even though you tried to erase the message, and find where it came from. So knock it off. I will not stop. I don't care who threatens my life. I already know how I'm going to go out, because I won't stop talking. And as the technocratic fence continues to tighten, I can imagine that I might be one of the first to go out, because they do not like us talking about Trump and revealing all this stuff, because they want to march us toward the law and order police state. So let's keep going here. Now, we've been met with heavy resistance, haven't we? And trying to help people understand that there is no right and left, and that Trump is fully behind this transition of the United States to a surveillance state. People simply won't believe it. But one of you found this gem, and I'm going to show that to you now. Proof of Trump's domestic drone ambitions going back to 2017, which was 1 year after he got into the presidency. And they've now attempted to scrub this from the internet. The only place you can really find this proof is through mainstream websites that linked to the Reuters article. All the other articles that typically copy Reuters, all their links have been pulled down. Because remember, when I'm reporting on the news, I show you guys this stuff from usually a portal, usually the Yahoo portal, because that's where I do my email through. But if you look, they're all from different sources, Fox News, Reuters, all these different sources. Yahoo is just the portal. Okay. And so when Reuters puts out an article like the one I'm going to show you, if I can get to it before the power goes out, because it's full frontal, you guys. They're trying to silence us again going into this election. Heck, I put the word inauguration in the title of yesterday's video. It got flagged. And I removed the word, so you're not even allowed to talk about the inauguration anymore. So I had to call it Eggnog the Nation. So we're back to using silly words. Remember, this was typical during the first Trump presidency. We weren't allowed to say certain words. And here he's about to be president again, and the same kind of censorship is ramping back up. And I know we're on YouTube's platform, but that's what makes it odd, isn't it? It's not supposed to be that way. I thought YouTube was liberal. Well, the big secret is they're all together. So this is out of Syracuse University, and they linked to the article. But when you click on it, watch what happens. Now this is insane. Here's the article here. I'm going to refresh it and watch what happens. The article flashes on the screen. There it is. And then it disappears. It's literally been pulled from the internet. Now I'll put a link to this, and I'm curious to see if the same thing happens to you. But let's take a look, because I screenshotted what you just saw, and we can read it for ourselves as much as we can see of it before it's removed from the internet completely. Now, why would they remove something like this? Well, they would remove something like this because they don't want people knowing the agenda. They want it to be some obscure thing, or they want people to believe it's fake news, or they want people to believe all, and not understand what's really happening to our country and the world. We are entering the surveillance state. There will be no more free speech. Well, you can say what you want, but you're going to get picked up. You're going to be located immediately by a drone. Your face is going to be recognized anywhere you go as they're scanning everyone's face through Palantir's technology. And it will be too late. And people will look back and they'll be like, wow, Casey tried to warn us. But yet here we are. Now, let's take a look. Let's read this. This is unbelievable. What happened in 2017 and what Trump passed. Okay, let me go back into the chat real quick, and then we'll read this together. This screenshotted text. Now, you know what I should probably do? Let's do this. Let me see if you guys, because we've got to make a record of this, right? That's why we come on here every day, you guys. It's to make a record, to call people into account, okay? So that all truth is revealed. So here is the article, and you tell me what happens when you click on that Reuters article. Maybe a couple of you can hop off and do that real quick. For me, it disappears almost immediately. And I don't know why it even shows up for a second. Maybe it's a supernatural disclosure. God wants us to be shown. But someone click on that link and tell me what's going on. Christina says, Casey, go over Trump's new NFT trading card. So he has new trading cards. We'll do that tomorrow, most likely, because we got a Power Pack show today. I don't want to, but I'll open up, let's see here, Trump's new NFT. I'll do that for tomorrow's show. I need to, research it, and then we'll make a whole show on that. But, okay, so what happened with the link, you guys? So, Danelle can read the article. Why is it only... So, it looks like you guys can read it, but I cannot. So, there you go right there. Apparently... They're censoring my computer. Wow. Now, let's read the article. This is insane, you guys. Insane. Sorry for the blurriness of it, but this is the best I could do. Whoops. Too big. All right. Trump administration program to test expanded drone use. President Donald Trump. Now, this was dated October 26, 2017. Lo and behold, that is Hillary Clinton's birthday. Let's keep reading. Launched a program on Wednesday to expand testing of drones to include flights over people, nighttime operation, and flights out of sight of operator, the White House said. Now, I'm going to slow down on this because this might be the one thing that wakes people up when they see the connection between this drone phenomenon that's happening now and back in 2017, which was 8 years ago. The pilot program aims to speed up the integration of unmanned aerial vehicles into the national airspace system and test drone detection and tracking while waiving some limits on their use. Under the memorandum signed by Trump on Wednesday, states and local governments would be able to seek Federal Aviation Administration approval for testing and expanded use. So, state and local governments. The White House stopped short of proposing new regulations that would allow broader nationwide use of drones or any timetable for new authority. So he didn't quite expand it to the feds, but maybe they did. White House advisor Michael Christios told reporters the program will open the skies for delivery of life-saving medicines and commercial packages, inspections of critical infrastructure, support for emergency management operations. I don't know who this guy is. Kratsios said the program would allow companies and governments to operate drones in ways that are currently restricted by the FAA, including beyond the visual line of sight flights, nighttime operations, and flights over people. Alphabet Inc. and Amazon are among a growing number of companies hoping to make package delivery by drones a reality. The memo said the Transportation Department could allow drone flights up to 400 feet with the goal of approving at least 5 pilot projects. In 2015, the Obama administration opened the skies to low-level small drones for education, research, and routine commercial use, but left in place significant restrictions. The FAA estimates by 2021, the fleet of small hobbyist drones will more than triple, and commercial drones will grow tenfold to about 442,000. So essentially what Trump did was open up the ability to have happen what's happening now. Okay, now this isn't specific to any military drones or anything like that. I want to give fair balance here. But it's definitely something of note, isn't it? It's definitely something of note that this rise of the machines, rise of these drones, and opening it up to some of these state and local authorities, this would include police departments and their ability to fly a drone out of sight and to surveil you. So it's opened up the surveillance state in this article. Now, I don't know why this thing wouldn't load for me, but it is what it is. Now, let's get into some other stories today. Remember on yesterday's show, I said, oh, well, you know, everyone's raising money for Luigi Mangione. And I said, oh, they'll just simply defund Luigi. That'll be next. And literally like an hour to 2 hours later, this article came out. GoFundMe pulls all campaigns for Luigi Mangione as donations pour in for his defense. Do you guys see a problem with this? He is accused. He has not been convicted. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? I guess that's just words, isn't it? I guess that's just words. Wow. Well, let's read about what happened. Unbelievable. All right, let's see here. GoFundMe pulls off campaigns for Luigi Mangione as donations pour in for his defense. GoFundMe is yanking any and all campaigns supporting Luigi Mangione. So, if you're a person who wants to raise money for him, your account will get yanked too. It says donations for his defense continue to pour in on other online platforms. Wow. Is that even legal? Well, they're a private company, so I guess it is legal. This is the age that we've entered into. That if you're saying the wrong thing or you're accused of something, the overlords can come in and arbitrarily, literally defund you and pull your funding. Wow. So this goes directly against the will of the people, right? Because obviously, if this guy's raising a lot of money, that's the will of the people, isn't it? Now, I'm not part of this crowd. I think this whole thing, our legal system and defense and all this, I think it's all just a big Ponzi scheme, okay? So I wouldn't be one of these people donating money to this guy. In fact, I'm not even sure if the guy's real or not. I'm not even sure if this whole thing isn't a psyop. So I wouldn't be a person donating money to this guy. But if he was real, people should be allowed to do this. We live in the United States of America. Why would we allow this to happen? Right? Why would we allow them to block this? There should be an uprising of thought when it comes to this stuff. Now, let's get into some other aspects of today's show. Many of you asked me, now this is a very, very important. Many of you asked me to look into Google's new quantum processing chip called Willow. Because we've been talking all about Willow, hadn't we? For a very, very long time. Let me quickly review our studies on Willow. And then we'll see if that links in with this new quantum chip. Now understand that a lot of information that we had covered in the past has been scrubbed from the internet. Okay? We found some pretty profound stuff, you guys, that exposes everything that's happening right now and everything we just went through with the pandemic. But let me give this to you in a nutshell. The goddess Artemis, who was Apollo's twin sister, was found by a brother named Alopicus, from which the word alopecia comes from, or hair loss. She was found under a willow tree by Alopicus. Here it is right here. In legend, her image was discovered in a thicket of willows. And it says here, in Greek mythology, Astrabacus is a Spartan, the son of Erebus. He and his brother Alopicus found a wooden image of the goddess Artemis under a bush of willows. So what does all this mean? Well, as we've said in the past and as we've broken down in the past, the willow tree represents hair. It represents a full head of hair. And therefore, the ancient myth implies that it is Artemis who is responsible for alopecia or hair loss. Now, Artemis, just like Apollo, her brother, her twin brother, brings disease and the cure with her arrows. And interestingly, Artemis had a nymph named Syrinx, from which the word syringe originates. It says it right here in this article. Now, why is this significant? Well, Syrinx or syringe was turned into a sea of hollow needles or hollow reeds, which is why her name is Syringe. And Pan, the god Pan, actually harvested one of these needles to form his pan pipe. Do you see now how all of this fits in to Trump, Apollo, and his Artemis space program and his warp speed needle program that essentially brought us into the Needle Nation? Now it's all about needles. The Ozempic Olympic Needle Nation, the flu shot Needle Nation, and of course the Vidco 19 Smack the Nation. Do you see now why this alopecia is the quote unquote rare side effect of the it sticker? Do you now understand that this hair loss is a side effect? You now understand why he was shaving Vince McMahon's head in the WWE. So now you see that none of this needs stretching. It all fits like a glove. Now that we know, we've done a review on the mythology that fits into, well, everything we just went through, let's read about Google's parallel universes and its new supercomputer, the Willow. Well, let's read out of the Daily Mail. Let me check in with you guys first. Somebody said my voice was skipping. I don't know what's going on over here, you guys. It's raining cats and dogs right now. It's just starting to pass. Hopefully power stays on. Unbelievable. What are you guys' thoughts on this? No stretching necessary. Wow. All right. Artemis. Nothing new under the sun. Yes, it all goes back to ancient mythology, these false gods that the controllers of this world worship. Yes, that's Trump's space program, Josh. Artemis. Yes. All right. We got some trolls in here. We'll have Rebecca take care of that. Oh boy. Somebody call out the troll so I can handle it. Looks like Rebecca can't see him. So the Willow surveillance nation. Then we'll read this article. All right, let's go ahead and read this article. Maybe he'll pop back up. You guys, please call out the troll for Rebecca so that she can handle it. Now, let's read about Willow. Let's see if this ties in. Now, I'll be shocked. I have not read this article yet. Sometimes I like to do live decodes with you guys just because it's spontaneous. Most of the time I do show notes, but every once in a while I'll pop it, and we can all get involved in this decode. So let's read this together and see if it fits in. Google's quantum computing breakthrough on Monday has left physicists who had the project a believer in the idea that we live in a multiverse. Well, now you know what meta is all about. See, they know something. They know something, but they're not telling us yet. Willow, the tech giant's new quantum chip, succeeded in solving a computational problem so complex it would have taken today's best supercomputers an estimated 10 septillion years to solve it, vastly more than the age of our entire universe. Now, what I believe that they're doing here with these computers is I believe that they are trying to create a computer so powerful that it can store a human brain, basically. Essentially, they want to be able to use, like I think they call it a wet connection to the brain. This is why Elon Musk is so important with Neuralink. And they want to basically put a brain and attach it to a computer and be able to talk through the computer. I believe this is what they're working on. This is the beast. Who can make a war with the beast? Who can make war with an artificial intelligence? You can't. And whoever controls the artificial intelligence controls the world. Now, we already know who controls the artificial intelligence. Satan's behind it. But very few people realize this. They think that they can wield the artificial intelligence to their demands and needs. Now, let's keep reading here. It says Google said its new quantum computer solved the puzzle in under 5 minutes, calling Willow's performance astonishing. The leader and founder of Google Quantum AI team, physicist Hartmut Neven, said its high-speed result lends credence to the notion that quantum computation occurs in many parallel universes. Successful development of the quantum computing would, in effect, affirm the many worlds interpretation. So they're thinking that this thing tapped into another world in order to do its computations. Wow. Now this is, I guess, it. This is the thing. It doesn't look like anything special, but look at the rainbow on it. That's interesting. 1.5 inches, 4 centimeters, a little larger than an after 8 mint. Oh, I guess the chip is in the middle of the hand there. Willow is said to have solved a computational problem so complex it would have taken septillions of years to solve it. Willow. Whoa. Look at that thing. Let's see. Let's go and see if this works here. It's the gallery. The willow tree. Kind of looks like a willow tree, doesn't it? With hair falling down. Maybe this is why they named it the Willow. Let's keep reading. Whoops. Oh boy. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome to the jungle. Okay, let's keep going here, you guys. In Siegel's view, neither leading interpretation of parallel universes or a multiverse would be supported by a successful quantum computer. In one version, many parallel universes exist out in deep, deep space, vast distances away from our own, and possibly the product of our own big bangs. Now, understand this idea of multiverses is intentional to separate you even more from God. They don't want you to believe that the earth is the center of the universe. They want you to believe that we are just an insignificant speck, that we are just some random accident. This is what they want you to believe. So this makes us feel even more small and separated from God if you believe in this stuff. But wow, this thing literally does look like a willow tree, doesn't it? Now, how does this fit in to humanity? Well, they're accessing us to solve these problems, aren't they? Wow. Now, what else is going on? Now, I want to end the show today with this. And this is the truth about what we just went through. Something very strange. And anytime someone comes into the comment section and tries to defend Trump, I just revert back to this about warp speed. But here's what happens. When I reply to some of these people, my reply doesn't show up. It's almost as if anytime I mention any disease state, like a heart attack, a stroke, blood clots, or cancers, YouTube is censoring my reply. They do not want this association, do they? But here are the statistics, you guys. Up to 2023, okay? Remember, this is the year, this is why they had to get this thing out as quickly as possible, didn't they? They had to bring it to market as quickly as possible because the statistics had to overlap with the actual disease. Now, they have since attached these side effects to COVID. They're now saying, oh, increased rate of heart attack, stroke, and all these things happen because of COVID-19, haven't they? But wow, look at this. Almost a 50% increase in the years during COVID. 2020, 2021. They didn't drop off until 2022. But by that time, those who got it, and those who didn't, wouldn't, right? Now, this is death related to heart failure, stratified male and female, what we just looked at. Let's look at this one. Now, I'm being careful about how I talk about this, obviously, but you guys can fill in the blanks. Here's ages 35 to 44, you guys. That's should be a normal, healthy person. And look what happened. See this? 2019 to 2020. Remember, it was December 2020 that the you know what came out. So this data right here, this huge jump, literally doubled. Doubled in this age group. Went from 4 to 9. 100% increase for heart failure. Look at this. This is by race. Again, significant increases in these years here. 2020, 2021, 2020 and 2021. And the most affected were Black African Americans, then white, not too far behind, and then the American Indians and Asians fared the best. But look at the jump. Now, here's the dead giveaway. Let's go back to the chat. Let this catch up. Here's the dead giveaway. Wouldn't this be a slam dunk for people who believe in the smack the nation to get people to get the poker? Wouldn't this be a slam dunk? Wouldn't they lead with this? Wouldn't they, on every single newscast, wouldn't they say, hey, if you don't get the it and you get sick, the odds of you having a cardiovascular event are doubled in certain age groups? Wouldn't they be leading the pack in fear mongering to get as many people as they could to get the it poker? Why won't they talk about this? Now, I did the math on these stats to basically try to, are we having problems here? Make sure you guys are still with me. I did the math on the stats to try to see what was going on, to get a round number for you guys. And when I did the math on this to see exactly how many people died above normal, the number came in between 25,000 to 50,000 people died from a cardio event, above the normal numbers when you do the math. After the it came to market. Didn't say it caused it. I'm just saying after the it came to market. Now, we know this is true, right? We know this is true. Why do we know this is true? Because remember we did a poll and about 90% of you knew somebody who died from a cardiovascular event during this time frame. Now remember, these are only the people that actually died. The actual number of people who had some kind of event and survived it was magnitudes higher. Many of them are now disabled. This should be plastered all over the news, right? You want to get people to get the it, tell them this. You'd have a bunch of people going in, but they don't want to talk about it, will they? Because if they do, then people will realize that if they did have the it and people are still dropping dead, they'll be like, oh, there's something wrong here. There's something wrong. This doesn't make any sense. I've been fully itted and I still had a stroke. To me, this is the biggest story of the Trump presidency and the Biden presidency. But so few people understand this. They've already moved on to other things. And so here we are. Here we are. All right, I'm back in the chat, you guys. What a morning. What a day. What a time to be living in. All right, some of you have to take off. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to present to you today. I'll dig into these NFT trading cards. I didn't know there was a new batch. And we're going to, like we do, we're going to look it over with a fine-tooth comb and see if there's anything to report. And I'll present that to you tomorrow. All right. Warp speed to depopulation. Yes. And we didn't even get into the infertility that happened during that time. Remember that? Birth rates nosedived. Now, since then, they've been admitting this to a certain degree. There was some of this happening, but they're never going to admit the full story. They're just going to disclose a little bit of it. So, yes, Christy, Jada's daughter is Willow. Yeah, we did a whole deep dive on that whole thing. Will Smith and his wife who had alopecia, right? Now, William, right? Will Smith, the word smite, his last name, Smith, means to smite or to poke or to jab. Okay. So this is what we're dealing with, you guys. That was a whole ritual. And remember when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock during that show, during that Grammy, I think it was an Oscar or the Grammys or something, they were running alopecia commercials and selling alopecia medicine. So Willow being the daughter, that means something, right? It's shocking. All right. Now, we tell you this so you can steer clear of these things, right? That's why we're here. You know, how are people supposed to know unless they watch a video like this? How are they supposed to know? Because the mainstream media is not telling them, right? And let people decide what they're going to do, but they need a balanced view of what is actually happening. Don't they? They need to be told the truth. Yes, it is shocking how they plan stuff so far ahead. All right, you guys, I'm going to get these links for you guys into the pinned comment. Thank you guys for your participation and help. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Much love, everybody. Take care.